welcome to the Stronghold Podcast, where we explore capability and truth. I'm your host, Dave Barton, and today we're diving into serving and some lessons that have the power to change your perspective on purpose, fulfillment, and service. I must admit this podcast was originally supposed to be on the massive fraud that is being exposed in our country, the tyrants who have stolen from generations upon generations of our country. But as I came to record, I couldn't give energy to them. They have stolen enough. I have not forgotten and am exploring outlets for those emotions. This podcast, though, needed to give energy to good. And serving has provided me with an abundance. So once again, today we're diving into serving and some lessons that have the power to change your perspective on purpose, fulfillment, and service. My pastor Jeremiah once shared something that really struck me. He said, in serving, we discover what God has for us in life, not what he wants from us. That's a game changer. Too often we think of serving as a duty or an obligation, but what if serving is actually the path to finding out who we are meant to be and what is out there for us in the world? Before we go further, I want to challenge you with this. If you serve in some capacity, why do you serve? If you haven't written that down before, pause this podcast right now and take a moment to write it down. Because knowing your why when it comes to serving can change everything. And I'll return to this shortly. So what's the purpose in serving? We live in a culture that tells us to chase success, status, and personal gain. But Scripture, ancient teachings, and wisdom turns that idea on its head. In Matthew 23:11, Jesus says, "The greatest among you must be a servant." It is not about power or prestige, it's about impact. You can cause people to feel ruled, bossed around, or your actions can cause them to feel supported and valued. It's your choice. The Havamal, the wisdom of the Norse, echoes this idea when it says a gift always looks for a return. He who gives well will be given in turn. You see, service isn't about loss. It's about growth and gain in ways we don't always expect. When you serve, whether in your family, community, or workplace, you step into something bigger than yourself. And that's where God reveals purpose. When I think of serving and revelation of purpose, I think of the feather and palm story. There is a beautiful feather in my hand, and I am holding it. And there are two different ways I can do that. One way of holding the feather is by closing my hand and making a fist. The feather's form, structure, and beauty can't shine and be seen that way. But by closing my hand around it, I'm making sure the feather doesn't get blown away. So I keep it tight in my closed hand. That's how we often go about things that are precious to us, that we fear to lose. We hold them tightly. That is especially true for beloved people, family, friends, relationships, as well as our ideas, our beliefs, concepts, or programs. But what happens if I hold something inside a closed fist? First, it takes an effort to do that. And second, it might take away its beauty. In this case, the feather is not to be seen. The fist gesture is an act of closing, not opening. It's a gesture of taking rather than giving. It takes energy to hold a fist tightly, and I will get tired at some point if I always try to make a fist like this. The other way of holding on to something is in the palm of your open hand. This holding is relaxed, rested, and light. This gesture is an act of support, rather giving than taken. It is holding and giving space for something to be as it is. And there is little to no control, since this gesture of an open hand allows things to be taken away. If wind comes, the feather will lift off the palm and go with the wind. This gesture of holding something might take courage, because we can't control what is happening. We have to be brave to accept this truth. Things will come to us and things will go or be taken away, no matter how tightly we might want to hold on to them. The tighter we hold on to, the greater the pain when we are asked to let go. So instead of being scared of things to be taken away from me, to fear the change, and instead of asking, what do I get out of it? What if I ask, how can I serve? You see, serving transforms us. Think of the most fulfilled people you know. Chances are they serve in some way. Maybe they mentor, volunteer, or simply show up when others need them. Their lives have weight or impact because they're not just about themselves. In Philippians 2:3-4, Paul writes, "Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too." This isn't weakness. It's strength. A man who serves is a man who leads. When I began to serve, I became a significantly better leader. A leader who was happy, proud of his impact, and fulfilled by the endeavor. The Havamal again supports this idea when it says, "No man is so generous, he won't accept gifts, nor so rich, they mean nothing to him." You see, giving and serving connect us to others, and that connection is what makes life meaningful. Serving opens you up to an energy of abundance and aligns you with similar people. You see, serving creates wealth and abundance. You'll note I did not say riches. While serving can lead to riches, I'm talking about wealth. A new influencer in my life, Jeremy Newsom, says, "Wealth isn't just about money. It's about freedom, choices, and impact." There's that word again, impact. We took it away from Matthew, and the word has flown throughout this podcast. When properly cared for, true wealth is like a river. It grows deeper and wider as it flows through your lifetime. You can draw from it, but when you stand in it, the river continues to grow wider and deeper. So what does wealth mean to you? Serving has revealed that answer to me, in that when I wake up, if I can impact my life or others, my life has wealth. Happiness, selflessness, impact pays in ways riches or income cannot. I experienced this firsthand in 2018. I started to truly serve myself and slowly started seeking more. Removing the words I lived by and replacing them with actions. I felt the impact serving could make. Before I was truly ready to serve others to the fullest, I had to feel the impact and transformation firsthand. And before talking through this today, I never actually realized the first person I truly served was myself. After I had served myself, the value that I saw in myself and the changes that presented themselves provided a cup that ran over, and it drove me to seek ways to serve others. I believe this was the Lord showing me the path of what He had for me in life. At first, I felt like I was just helping. But looking back, I see that God was shaping me through it. I was putting in the reps that encompass the three-legged stool. Whether mind, body, or soul, we need to be consistent and apply repetition. In doing so, I was provided wealth. In that, my heart and mind were gifted appreciation, perspective, and wisdom. As I applied consistency and reps, I was also provided intent, purpose, and greater still, calling for my life. Where at first I just felt like I was helping, who I was passionate about helping became clear. I am passionate about helping children that are told they are less than or that weak men cause to suffer. I'm passionate about helping women who have been hurt or abused or have become jaded by men who only wish to take from them. And finally, I am passionate about helping men find what God has for them in life and help them grow into servants that not only serve, but seek to improve so that they can lead and be the best versions of themselves. They then can join me in truly serving the women and children. So you see, serving has provided wealth, intentional living, purpose, and most notably, calling. So what is a calling, and why does it rise above all else? As I have mentioned in prior podcasts, a calling in my mind involves activating all of the skills, beliefs, and intent that I am comprised of toward a distinct purpose. Calling is individualistic, and for me, it comes from my Creator. A calling has ramifications if not pursued. As my soul either works toward fulfillment or toward compromise. Further so, if I do not pursue a calling, others may suffer. It may be in the words, actions, or service they will not receive from me. It could be from something I am unknowing of. You see, a calling is an agreement with your soul, and I believe it has eternal consequences. This life mission that I am on can be summed up by Isaiah 1:17. It says, "Learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow." You see, if I'm serving this mission, then I am wealthy beyond my imagination. But you'll remember, I asked you to write down why you might serve or why you do serve. It's important because we are human. And even the most well-meaning and devout among us are tempted to equate wealth with riches. Serving can lead to expectation. We can stand in that river of wealth and expect it to flow into us. I was speaking with some of my closest friends today, discussing the frustration that I'm currently feeling with my career and compensation. I expressed that I'm confused with God's timing and upset with the failure of leaders around me. My self-confidence and support from the people that I value greatly would say that I should be experiencing riches and promotion. And there it was. The reason that we need to write down why we serve. It's because if we don't, we are bound to equate riches to wealth, and by doing so, cheat the blessing and path that serving provides. You see, since I have earnestly served, sought personal excellence, and placed the needs of others before mine, I've received an abundance of wealth. I am not the same human I was before serving became the centerpiece of my life. I have improved as a leader. I have been shown how to impact people's hearts. The course of others' lives and my own has shifted. My mind is filled with the smiles of children that I have helped and the stories of women who are overcoming and seeing true men support them and pour into them. Serving has put me in touch with other humans, not for networking and benefits, but in touch with their energy and humanity. To those on that call with me today, I'm sorry. I'm human, and I never intended to discount the abundance the Lord has shown me. I would serve others if it meant losing everything. And my life to date would indicate that I have never even come close to losing everything. So I will continue to trust my Savior and endure myself. So what are some practical ways to serve? How do we put this into action? Well, here's 3 ways you can start serving today. Number 1, start in your home. A wise man builds up his home. Serve your wife. Wives, serve your husband. Serve your kids. Serve your family. Be the man or be the woman who sets the tone with humility and strength in your home. Second, look for needs in your community. Whether it's mentoring others, helping at church, or simply being present for a friend in need, there's always an opportunity to serve. Finally, serve with what you have. You don't have to wait for the perfect time. Use your skills, your time, your presence. You see, God works with what's in your hands and hearts. And if you start serving, you'll be shown this path. And like the river, it will grow wider and deeper. So I want to leave you with this. Write down why you serve. Keep it somewhere you can see. And if you haven't started yet, start today. Galatians 5:13 says, "For you have been called to live in freedom, my brothers and sisters. But don't use your freedom to satisfy your sinful nature. Instead, use your freedom to serve one another in love." Paulo Coelho says, "When we love, we always strive to become better than we are. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too." But I will caution you, as you serve, if not careful, serving will become all-consuming. This is a blessing and good. But I encourage you to serve along others and make sure to also serve yourself. When you are constantly giving and lending a hand, it can be draining. So celebrate and be in fellowship with others who serve alongside you or give their energy to serving. As always, thank you for joining me and listening into the Stronghold Podcast.